Absolutely. So passion points are what tap into the positive emotions of your prime prospects to get them really excited and delighted about what you have to offer. And you do that by painting a possibility of what life will look like once they experience your products or services. And the reason that I am so passionate about this is when I started my business in 2003, I resigned from an ad agency in Idaho. I had a non-compete, so I couldn't work my magic in my local market for, I can't remember if it was 2 or 3 years, but at any rate, I had to get creative. And so I thought, well, that's fine. Let's just go global. And I started studying with some of the top internet marketers and copywriters out there. And what I noticed is the formula that everyone was teaching is the problem, agitate, and solve approach, which really just did not feel good to me. I mean, of course, we need to know what the problem is to solve it in business. That makes sense. But the piece that feels very incongruent and misaligned and manipulative is the poking at the pain points and agitating those pain points, because in that framework, you identify the problem and then you agitate those pain points, and people really focus on pain point marketing and ask, what are their pain points? What are their pain points? And then you amplify those to make people feel very uncomfortable and get them into a heightened emotional frenzy so that then you can come in and be the solution. And that just does not feel good to me at all. And I intuitively knew that it was wrong. But again, I was studying with the top people out there. So I also had a little bit of, this is way back in the day, a little bit of like, who am I to question these people that are doing this? But what I found is hundreds upon hundreds of people came my way and were asking for help. They knew I was doing things differently, and I was just intuitively doing that by tapping into values and helping people really focus on their passion points. And they would come to me frustrated because they had spent tons of money with these experts who had them line out all their pain points. And they said, well, it's not working, whether it was a website, a brochure, whatever it might be. And so I said, well, let's just take a step back and let's look at that and think about how you like to be spoken to, how you like to be interacted with. And is that how you would talk to a friend? And the light bulbs started going off, and then infusing the values back into everything and bringing things back to basics and really treating marketing like a relationship building tool as opposed to a transaction helped and made a big difference for so many.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. And yeah, the pain points is usually the traditional, most sales pages that you look at talk about, the downside of, what you're experiencing, the pain points, if you will, and then put forward the experience or the program or the opportunity that is supposed to help you solve that. Right. What have you found to be like the game changer when it relates to using the passion points versus the pain points? Does it bring forward better clients for your clients? Does it bring forward better launches, but better opportunities, or is it just more like a intrinsic feeling from the person who's putting out the brochure or the sales page that, look, I feel like this resonates with me more. This is how I prefer to talk to people. This is how I prefer to convince people or persuade people to give my program a try.
Yeah, what I found, the framework that I use softens everything a lot, and it builds relationships. So instead of focusing on the pain points, we focus on the challenge. So we meet people where they are with empathy and understanding. And so what that does is it immediately builds trust and rapport. And so that's always going to create a more bonded emotional connection than someone who's telling you what's wrong with your life and how horrible it is and why you need to work with them, right? It's an energetic thing. And what I know to be true is the people that I am meant to serve are people who actually have energetic blocks around pain point marketing. It completely turns them off. They're typically very, high level leaders, visionaries, and they have this very big mission that they want to get out into the world in a gigantic way to change the world. And they're stuck because all they've been taught is the pain point marketing. And so that makes them feel like they can't really share their magic because they don't feel good about the formulas that are being taught. So there's so many layers to the question that you ask, which I love, Stephanie. So yes, it creates better rapport. It creates long-term sustainable success. And that trust is so huge. And it's again, building those relationships because you acknowledge the challenge and you meet people where they are. You offer your solution, and within your solution piece is where you highlight those passion points. Okay, I see where you are, but let's take you to where you want to be. And this is how that's going to happen. And so just using my business as an example, I mentioned the people I serve are completely turned off by pain point marketing. As soon as they hear passion point marketing, get so excited I can't even talk, then they know, hey, Lisa's who I want to talk to, and I want to learn this, and that feels good to me. And everything truly is energy. So we want to be energetically aligned. And then they immediately think, well, that's great. And how can it help me? So I share specific examples of how using this framework has helped people increase opt-in rates, increase results at speaking engagements. One person just read an article that I wrote and started using the challenge, solution, and invitation framework in her presentations and got more response than she had from spending thousands upon thousands of dollars with a sales coach. So there's something pretty powerful about this. I mean, and there's other results too, but so in the solution piece, you've got to show people that you're that solution. And then what happens is you've already educated them so beautifully to where they can then just extend a friendly invitation. So there's none of the pushy hard sell stuff. And what's super exciting about this is, okay, so the challenge, you've got to know it. The solution, you've got to be it. The invitation, you've got to do it. If we don't ask people to take action, nothing's going to happen. But when you use this framework the right way, and this is super exciting, it eliminates the need to overcome objections because you've already shared all of the information that they need to illustrate the results that you get and how you can help them get from where they are to where they want to be. And then you are the absolute natural choice.
I love that. I mean, the part about objections, I'm sure there's many watching this that would be like, wow, if I could get less objections on my sales calls, that would be divine, right? But I really heard too about when you spoke about the energy and the trust part, that really resonated with me, and I'm sure it would with a lot of folks, because I talk a lot too about the energy of how you're showing up and the energy of what comes across and the kind of people that brings in, and also about being visible with authority and helping to build the trust with your audience so that they're kind of free-souled into working with you. And I hear that, you know, resonating or coming through in how you're explaining why it's really important and actually more effective to focus on the passion points versus the pain points. So could you tell us, Lisa, why you believe that messaging and strategy are so important?
Well, they're